Hey everyone, welcome back to 5 Day Crypto. My name is Chase. Today we're going to look at the total crypto market cap. We're looking at a weekly scale here. So each candle you're seeing is, yes, 1 week. So let's go ahead and remove our moving averages. That's not going to matter. However, I do want to keep this one. What is this one? Well, look at our last two times down here. This has historically been the times of, near turnarounds. Now we only have 2 data points, so moving forward, we'll likely get another one in our next bear market. So this might be a little bit early to be talking about this, but always nice to start thinking ahead. It's never too early. So at our bottom of our next bear market, the odds are, in my book, that a turnaround will not occur for the next bear or bull cycle. The next bull market will not kick off until we touch this line. What is it? It's the 200-week SMA. So it doesn't mean we can't go below it, but that I don't think we're going to reverse macro scale until we hit this in the bear market. Right now, we're at 600 roughly 600 billion. Okay. Now, depends on how high we go here is how far we will fall. How far could we fall? Well, currently, how far away are we? Let's see. We're about 77% away from that now. How far away were we from it back in 2017? Our real blow off top here. I'm glad you asked. Let's almost look at that. Look at that move. 90, almost 95% drop. Now, however, look at this. We didn't drop to there, right? We didn't drop 95%. How far did we drop? From our very tippy top peak to our very bottom here. 87%. Pretty mind blowing. 87%. We went from 700 and almost 750 billion to less than 100 billion, 93 billion. So 87% of the entire crypto market wiped out from top to bottom. And look how long this was. It wasn't that long. Less than a year, 87% of value gone. So if we do something like that similarly, I don't think we're going to make another run this far up because, diminishing returns, all that good stuff, because this was an amazing move. Not quite 2,000% up above that, right? If you measure from the upwards position. So to do that kind of move again, we got to really get cooking. 2,000%, right around there. 12 trillion might be a little rough for this go around, right? We're not even at 3 trillion yet. So I don't think we're going to quite make it there. But what about half of that? What about what was that? About 2,000%, 1,800, 1,900%? What about 1,000%? That takes us to 7 trillion. Is that doable? It sounds more like it to me. I think we could probably hit somewhere in there if we have a good run. Now, will we hit 7 trillion if we peak in December or January? Hell no. We'll probably peak, maybe another trillion forward, maybe 5 if we get like a really just explosive move, blow off top. But the longer it takes, the more likely we are to push that higher. So we kind of want Bitcoin and altcoins, all the whole market, just to take its time. If you have a super, parabolic move up, the move's almost over. So while it might be nice for the time, our portfolios will thank us if we can just take our time climbing these stairs and not go parabolic too quickly. Now, let's say we did make it up to what would we say, 7 trillion, 7.5 trillion, something like that. Be roughly a 10x from here, right? We were like 750 billion to 7.5 trillion. Sounds pretty reasonable to me. So a 10x. Okay, how far would we have to fall? Well, we see this 200-week moving average would probably be going up, right? So we're still going to continue up until we start to fall. And even when we do fall, look at this. We're still rising because it's 200 weeks calculating this in, right? So it's the previous 200 of these candles averaging this. Now, you may wonder why it cut off here. Well, 200 weeks is a hell of a long time. This is when it started for Bitcoin, right? So we'll have much more data to go off of this time, and we will see if we in fact make a third touch point when we hit our bear market. But let's pretend, right? We could even do a straight line, which is not going to go straight up, but let's say something even along the lines of that to be conservative, right? So let's see how far If we were saying what 1,000%, right? 1,000%, because we were 2,000 last time. Let's say 1,000% this time. Then we do the other way. So 1,000% above that line. That's still too much, right? Probably not. Probably not going to do that. So what about a drop? 87% drop. Could we see that on, you know, a move down? Now it's looking a little bit more feasible, right? So 7.5 trillion, 8 trillion, even 10 trillion, right? Let's go to 10 trillion. That would be kind of my absolute peak, unless we take another 12 months to get there, right? If we take another year to get to our peak, then sure, I think 10 trillion is easily doable. I don't know if we're going to make it there, but look at the move. I have a great feeling that, or maybe a bad feeling, and depending on how you look at it, that we're going to drop 70 to 80% at least from the peak, wherever we end up doing, to our next bear bottom, the bear market bottom. The bear bottom is probably going to be at this red line. And just for S&Gs, if we hit 10 trillion and this line moves straight up, which it won't, right? It'll probably start tapering off as we start moving down, just like this. But so maybe we don't draw it there. Maybe it comes up here, and maybe we shouldn't even draw it straight. How about that? Maybe we look at it with a multicolored yellow line, and it does something like that. That looks a little bit more reasonable, right? We could even color red and pretend it's the same line, although we all know it's not. Look how, if you're matching in kindergarten and you're matching these lines, you know one of them's wrong. I don't know where my mind goes. But let's pretend that we hit 10 trillion. About 80+% drop would hit us to that mark. So I think we're kind of right on par for that. Let's put the markers away. I'm still got the markers on. So there's the 10 trillion, the red dot. That's what I meant to do, right? 10 trillion. There's 88% drop if we hit it, you know, in September of 2022, which the last move took a year. So I think a bear cycle will probably take another year solid to hit it. So let's pretend we're going to hit it in April, because I'm kind of thinking, I'm leaning more towards, you know, spring to summer. So let's pretend we peak in April, right? Seems pretty doable for all of the whole crypto asset class, just because Bitcoin's done in February, March, April, whenever. The altcoins will have their time as well. So, but let's just pretend, we're going to pretend it peaks in April. Where would our year would be? Guess what? Next April. It's easy calculation. You can do it really quickly if you stay up with it. A year from April is, guess what? April 25th again. So let's pretend we pick in April. So that would take us, I would say the line might look like about like that, right? So we're rambling again. But the 10 trillion, let's pretend we hit 10 trillion, which we could maybe do if we peak in April. I think probably a little bit less. Maybe that's 7 to 8. It'll be interesting to see where we peak, honestly. But yeah, so let's say we peak at 7 to 8. That'd be 80%. So yeah, that's doable. If we get to 10, I mean, 80%, it's still 80%. It's 80% correction, which I think is pretty safe bet. 80% correction. So depending on where we go, this looks about, you know, roughly what it will probably do, depending on how parabolic we go, how quickly. But there's a lot of variables, but I think we'll at least hit 5 trillion. If we hit 5 trillion, I mean, shit, we got a long ways to go. We're at least 70% down. I mean, we could be 70, 80%. I mean, we're looking at these bottoms right in here, about 1 trillion. Can you imagine going from maybe 5 trillion to 1 trillion? That would be rough. So we're going to take profits on the way up. Follow me, Twitter, Telegram, Patreon. Follow us on, you know, the Telegram. We have a free Telegram. We have a paid Telegram. A little bit more info there. Give us a thumbs up on this video today, and we will keep you updated with all of it. See you on the next one. Have a good evening, morning, and afternoon, wherever the hell you are.